well, happy 4th to you, wherever you may be. I decided to just kind of wander around and find some things around the house and slash our garage that seem to kind of represent 4th of July experiences in ASMR trigger form, of course. So, yeah. It's 4th of July trigger time. I hope you're doing well, and as I say, wherever you are, I hope it is a very happy 4th of July to you. So starting off with some lighter fluid, because I mean, what could be more traditional on the 4th of July than grilling? And what are you going to grill on the 4th? Well, it depends really, doesn't it? On what your diet is like. There's been times in my life where I've been vegetarian for a while. Presently, I'm not. Some loud crinkly crinkles there. Yeah, so I mean hot dogs. Hot dogs are a classic. I mean, I'm not gonna tap on a pack of hot dogs, that would be weird. I think that would be a little grotesque, to be honest. But I mean, hot dog buns, that's another story, that's fine. And I mean, maybe you would pop one of these on the grill. Now, around here, these are called zucchini or summer squash. Basically, if you're at the self-checkout at the supermarket, they can be called whichever one you did not search for first, because obviously they got no barcode on them. So if you'd be looking up Z for zucchini, or of course Z for zucchini around here, if you'd be looking that up, it will be under squash, and vice versa. That's Murphy's Law, innit? Or Sod's Law. And of course, back where I grew up in England, they're called yet another thing, aren't they? Courgettes. Summer zucchini jets. Yeah, so I mean, what else? What else would you associate with the 4th of July? I mean, probably throwing a football around, right? Just kind of throwing a football around. You know, I was talking with somebody, like, just this week about how when I moved to America, I don't know if I'd ever even held an American football, and so trying to throw one, I just kind of grab it wherever and just lob it, like, so nothing, not a spiral at all. But I wanted to learn how to do a spiral. And I gotta say, if you live in a country where maybe you have never held an American football, it is really, really enjoyable learning how to do a spiral. Well, maybe not the learning process so much, but once you've got it, once you're able to kind of throw a spiral and throw it some distance to somebody else, it is so satisfying. It really is. Like seeing a lovely spiral leaving your hand and flying through the air. There's something about it, man. I am a total convert to the joy of the American style football. And I mean, if you're gonna get one, there's no need to get like a full-size adult one. Like this is pee-wee size. I'm sure it says on it somewhere. Yeah, right there it says pee-wee size. And that's like what, designed for maybe ages 6 to 9. Like this is considered a teeny tiny football, but it is just perfect for adult-sized hands. I love it. And in these days of globalization, I'm sure it's very easy to get a hold of an American football wherever you may be, if you felt so inclined. I mean, maybe not if you're living in the African desert somewhere. Maybe not though. Alright, what else do we associate with the 4th of July? Well, I, living in the American Midwest as I do, would say bug spray. As we say here, our state bird is, of course, a mosquito. I imagine that little joke is made in several states in America. But I tell you what, this is probably the best bug spray for mosquitoes that I've found. Not necessarily specifically this brand, but just the lemon eucalyptus. No DEET, just lemon eucalyptus. It smells very, very strongly, but it sure does the trick. Alright, I'm gonna pretend to spray it right now. Are you ready? Here we go. We're gonna pretend to spray it. There we go. And ready? Yes, okay. One more pretend spray. You ready? Okay, great. Because I'm not gonna spray the real thing right here, because as I say, it absolutely flippin' rocks. Not in a totally bad way at all. I mean, for some people, it is, but it seems to do the trick. And speaking of protection, during the 4th of July, sunscreen. Maybe thought I was going to go a different direction there, but no, we're going to keep this family friendly. A little sunscreen here. Protect yourself from the sun's rays while you enjoy the beautiful weather. Alright, here's another thing since moving to America. Speaking of the weather, I have found that I much prefer Fahrenheit to Celsius or centigrade. As the meme says, the design is very human. Like, it's so such a good way of ballparking the temperature. It's in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Each one has a very definite vibe, a very definite feel to it. I mean, obviously physically, but if you know the high is going to be in the 70s, just that ballpark, you know what to expect. If it's going to be in the 80s, you're like, okay, it's going to be roasting. And once you get up into the 90s, well, you better hope. You better hope you're by the lake, I guess. So another thing I would, you know what, I might have to cough. So if you excuse me, I'm just going to have to do a little cut here. There we go. Okay, I did have a little sneaky cough there. I don't have a cold. I don't know why I needed to cough. Now I got to try and remember to go back to that point in the video and edit that out. But anyway, another thing I would associate with the 4th of July, and maybe you do too, is doing a little race. Maybe a little race, maybe a long race. Maybe it's a 5k, maybe it's a 10k, maybe it's a 50k, who knows? I don't know if they do many 50ks on the 4th of July. It's typically like a quote-unquote shorter race kind of day, isn't it? But I've done a 5k, I've done a 10k, and so this is a gel. I mean, for shorter races, you're probably not going to be using a gel. Oh yeah, that's more for the longer efforts, I'd say. But just something I associate with races. I find gels can be really good, but after maybe like 4 hours or so into the race, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm done with gels now. What else have we got? Like, they just not as enjoyable after that point. Typically. And of course, if you're doing a race, you may need to remember your reusable floppy race cup. Because a lot of races these days make it very clear that they are cupless, don't they? Can be very gentle. So we got a couple of these floppy reusable ones. But I tell you what, don't just be buying these new. As you may know, don't just buy them new and take them straight to a race, because liquids will be stinking out of them. What I found a good way was warm water and vinegar, and just filling them up with warm water and vinegar and soaking them for hours and hours helped to get rid of that nasty taste that they impart. And now they're absolutely fine, I think. So, speaking of drinks, I mean, 4th of July, you're gonna associate maybe a little bit of beer, right? Here's a local brewery, Surly. Unrelated to the bike brand, which of course is also a local brand, Surly Bikes. I heard a story, I don't know if it's true, that in the early days of Surly Brewing and Surly Bikes, they met up and were like, okay, so we both got the same name. Are we cool? And they're like, yeah, we're cool. Yeah, let's just keep on doing it. Who cares? So that's an approximate version of what I heard. So I mean, that's nice that you got two local businesses where they're just like, yeah, we got the same name, we're not the same company, whatever. I mean, of course, Surly is part of a much larger company, Quality Bike Products, whereas I think Surly Brewing, as far as I know, they are just their own self-contained thing, but I don't know for sure. Now, I myself am not personally drinking alcohol, so this is non-alcoholic stuff. I mean, as they say, less than 0.5% ABV, right? Which I believe stands for alcohol by volume. So, a non-alcoholic beer. I'll be honest, I thought I'd try these out because the liquor store didn't have my usual brand, but I don't really care for them very much. But I got a 6-pack, so I'll probably try and get through it. But then I'll be looking for my regular stuff. Which is a brewery called Untitled Art, and like Surly, they do non-alcoholic and alcoholic. But Untitled Art, if you like non-alcoholic beer or you're looking to get into it, I can save you some time. Untitled Art, Juicy IPA, and also their West Coast IPA, flippin' lovely, so nice. And I'm not going to say that they're necessarily going to reach the dizzying heights of like a Furious or a Pseudo-Sue, but they are very, very nice for what they are. And if, like me, you're not really a big fan of alcohol right now, then, but you still like the taste of a good hoppy beer, that's great. It's nice to have that option. Because let's face it, O'Doul's is more of an oh dear, innit? Okay, so yeah, I mean that's definitely a 4th of July type thing for a lot of people, isn't it? Having a beer or two. What else? I mean, you're going to be outside, aren't you? So you might need a little camp chair. Maybe you'll be camping. Last year we were camping over the 4th of July. I quite like this. It's kind of sounds like cork, but with fabricy scratching sounds. And it's got a zip as well. Let's see if we can get this zip open. I never used the zip compartment. Or at least I haven't done yet. But I think this has very 4th of July colours with this whole tie-dye vibe. Oh yeah, I'm wearing my Charlie Barron's tank top today. Oh. If you live in the Midwest, I'd say there's probably a 99% chance that if you're on the internet with any frequency, you know Charlie Barron's. With his witty Midwest skits and observations. A very funny guy. And I saw he was selling this tank top, and I'm like, that's pretty awesome. course, you know what else you're gonna do, don't you? On 4th of July, you might enjoy fireworks. So here we have some fireworks packaging. Maybe you go to a professional display. Maybe you enjoy some fireworks in your backyard. And let's see how this actual firework sounds. It's quite a large one, isn't it? It's called Triceratops. But as a former firefighter, I feel it would be remiss of me not to give a little heads up about just how dangerous fireworks can be. Obviously, not only when you use them. Everybody knows that, don't they? Don't go back to a lit firework. Everybody knows that. And make sure you got something to put them in so they're not gonna fall over after they're lit and spray sparks at everyone. Everybody knows that. But one thing a lot of people don't know, but which firefighters all know, they'll learn it very quickly their first time working the 4th of July, is that fireworks can keep burning secretly inside for a very long time after they're done shooting out sparks. And every 4th of July, firefighters get very busy going to structure fires where people have used the fireworks. Maybe it's a couple of hours later, and they're like, oh, that's good enough. And they throw them in the trash. They go to bed, and the trash starts on fire. And the trash can is next to the garage. And then the outside of the garage starts on fire. And then it goes into the roof of the garage, maybe, and it turns out the garage is next to the house. And then the house starts on fire. Which, obviously, is not ideal for the occupants. So, as a former firefighter, I would recommend that you never throw away your fireworks in the trash can the same day that you used them. That would be ideal. I mean, absolutely douse the heck out of them with a hose or whatever you do. Whatever you do, you gotta douse the living heck out of them. But I'm telling you, the fire can sneak around inside and you can have no idea, and it can be sneaky burning in here for hours. Ready to just get things cooking when you least expect it. As I say, that's the thing, a fireworks safety thing that it seems a lot of people just are not aware of. But I'm sure you didn't come to this channel, I'm sure you didn't come to this video for PSAs today, but as I said, I thought it would be remiss of me not to mention it. And also, maybe on the 4th of July, you'll be chilling out, playing some cards with friends and family. Maybe you'll be chilling out. Maybe you'll be at a cabin, relaxing, ending the evening, playing some cards. What games might you be playing? You might be playing Maybe you're playing dominoes instead. Maybe you're playing Mexican Train. But anyway, I tell you what, I am glad I ended up in America. We got our troubles like anywhere else, right? Sometimes we have more than our fair share of troubles. But when I look around at the world, and I look back at the country where I grew up, I can definitely see it could be an awful, awful lot worse. And I do enjoy living here. And it is still a place with tremendous amounts of opportunity. Yes, of course. There's things which need fixing, absolutely. The balance of wealth and the way the wealthy are taxed or not is certainly not ideal. But I still feel very fortunate to be here. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Happy 4th of July to you.